That big brother. This one I really brother.
Thank you, my president.
But can you, Manika, they are not for that meeting. You go to work and slap you, come to Yahaya, begin to beg you, sorry for. FFK. FFK now. You say sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. Rosie.
I'm surprised the lady has it.
I'm not hearing.
How would you react to the outcome of the judgment?
Well, my reaction to the judgment is that as a lawyer, that is the final bus stop. This is the Supreme Court of Nigeria. But as a lawyer that is interested in justice, I believe judgment has been delivered and it's technical. And I think I wish that our democracy would be more democracy than a militarized democracy that is sanctioned by the judiciary. But I will say that that is the judgment of the Supreme Court. I thank them, and I have thanked them. I've learned a new jurisprudence today that you can abandon your pleading in your brief of argument, not at the trial court, even when evidence is laid. So as a student of jurisprudence, I've learned a new thing today, that pleadings can now be abandoned in a brief of arguments at the Court of Appeal, not at the trial court, even when evidence is left. So, as lawyers, we are now learning a new jurisprudence. This is the first I'm learning it, and I have learned now. God bless you.
Let me speak for APC.
Yes.
I represented APC.
I'm going to talk individually.
I represented APC. Sorry. Right. Well, the judgment is first and foremost very, very sound. There was a lot of industry, a lot of scholarship, and a lot of erudition that went into the delivery of the judgment. But bottom line, the judgment is the confirmation of the will of the good people of Kogi State, which they expressed on the 16th of November 2019. That's my reaction on behalf of the APC. M.A. Abubakar. Mohammed A. Abubakar. Thank you.
The winning team.
We will do the talking after you. Well, let me begin by saying that we are all highly delighted that the Supreme Court reaffirmed the victory, the election that gave our governor his second term. We want to thank God for the consistency of the judiciary. You recall that both the Senate election and the governorship election took place the same day. Now, in the Court of Appeal, 70 out of 73 witnesses that PDP brought to the court affirmed that the election was free and fair. So we're not expecting anything different from here. Because it's the same election, the same day. Now, what the PDP did during the election was to get films of riots in time past and place it to misinform the world that the election in Kogi was not free, was not fair. These were clips of riots in other places. Not even in Kogi State, just to mislead people. We want to thank the judiciary for their tenacity, for taking pains. If you listen to the judgment, they said the petitioners came just on academic exercise and that all the allegations lack merit. They didn't even have evidence of anybody coming to stand that the election was not free and fair, that the election was rigged. Now, they generalized their allegations. They say crimes were committed. By who? In law, you don't generalize criminal activities. You must be specific. So we want to thank God that we have judiciary that is very, very credible. And we thank God that more than ever before, we now have a leader in our state, our governor, who our people, the people of Kogi State, believe in his leadership. And they have affirmed that. Thank you. Don't forget that power belongs to God. God has actually anointed Yahaya Bello as our leader. The Bible says, once has God spoken, 12 have I heard that power belongs to God. Assalamu alaikum.
Let's go. You want to talk? Are you want to talk?
Let's allow the lawyer to address.
Where is the lawyer?
Please give space for the lawyer. Please try to create room for the lawyer to address. Please, please don't. Lawyers, please.
Hold on.
Let lawyers address the issue.
Yeah.
Step forward.
Lawyer to Yahaya Bello, not APC. Hold on, sir. Yes, in the immortal words of William Shakespeare, all is well that ends well. This has been a protracted legal battle from December now. We have concurrent decisions of the trial tribunal and the Court of Appeal being affirmed by the Supreme Court today in Wada's appeal. What the court in dismissing the appeal said is that the law improving whether you won an election by majority of lawful votes has not changed. It still remains the law. You must bring cogent and credible evidence, and election petitions are not fought on sentiment, but by clear and cogent evidence. You could see that the Supreme Court today, in deciding the case, said they needed to bring people who were at those polling units to give life to the documents they brought. Most of the documents brought were not spoken to by the makers of those documents. And even the expert evidence, the court held that there was no pleading to support that particular evidence of PW19 because they have abandoned those two grounds of the petition which border on corrupt practice and non-compliance. So you cannot use facts pleaded in support of non-compliance and corrupt practices to establish majority of lawful votes. The court has restated, this was stated in the Kano election petition, governorship election petition, Kabir's case, and now it has been affirmed by the Supreme Court that you cannot do that. So all in all, the court held that this was a case where the evidence brought before the trial tribunal could not support the petition, and the court accordingly dismissed it. While in the other petition, the court also held that the allegations of qualification, non-qualification against Alhaji Yahaya Bello and Edward Onoja, the deputy governor of the Kogi state, were not established. They were not able to bring evidence to contradict their form CF01 which they submitted to INEC. So the court didn't hesitate to dismiss that allegation. And similar to what happened in PDP, there was no cogent evidence to prove the allegation of corrupt practice and non-compliance, particularly the allegation that their name and logo was not on the ballot. The court said that at least one would have expected them to have brought the ballot papers to show that their name and logo is not there, but they didn't do that. And they also needed to bring witnesses to bring forth their allegations. So in the end, we are happy with both judgments. They are an enrichment to our electoral jurisprudence, and it still shows that the law remains the law, and the law is devoid of sentiment. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.